Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we are going to learn the rules of direct and indirect speech, as you can see on your screen. So the rules for direct and indirect narration, they will be discussed in this lecture. First of all, we have to understand that what do we mean by direct and indirect speech. Direct speech gives the actual words of the speaker with quotation marks. On the other hand, indirect speech gives the reported speech without quotation marks. This is the main difference between direct and indirect speech. Then the most important thing about the direct and indirect narration is the change of pronouns, because most of the students, they get confused whenever they have to change the pronoun. So the first rule, that how would you change the first person pronoun, which is I and we, it is always changed according to the subject of the reported verb, and the second person pronoun is changed according to the object of the reported verb. And whenever you have a third person pronoun, there is no change at all. It remains the same when you are changing it from direct into indirect speech. So this is a very, very important rule which you have to keep in mind, कि आपका जो फर्स्ट पर्सन प्रोनाउन है वो आपके सब्जेक्ट के लिहाज से चेंज होगा, सेकेंड पर्सन प्रोनाउन ऑब्जेक्ट के लिहाज से, और थर्ड पर्सन प्रोनाउन जो है वो चेंज नहीं होगा. लाइक यू कैन सी इन द एग्जांपल, he said I will go. I will change according to the subject of the reported verb, that is he. So I will be changed in he. In the place of I, he will be used for indirect speech. So in this way, you will have to change the pronoun when you have to change direct to indirect speech. Then I'm going to show you a table how to change the pronoun. So this table is definitely going to be very helpful for you people to just have an idea how the pronouns will be changed. So this is the table. You can easily note it, how the pronouns will be changed in the case of reported speech. I will be changed into he and she. And in this way, you can note down the whole of the chart of the change of pronoun whenever you have to change. So this chart you have to keep in mind. Then we have change of adverbs of place and adverbs of time in the case of direct and indirect narration. So let's see, we have a chart over here. So again, this chart you must be having in your mind, that what is the change in the sentence where you have to make in the case of indirect speech. Reported speech tenses chart change. Whenever you have to change a sentence from direct to indirect speech, the tense of the sentence will also be changed. So here is a chart which is going to tell you how to change the tense of the sentence in the case of reported speech. Suppose if the sentence is in present simple in the case of direct speech, and you change it into reported speech, so the tense will be changed from present simple to past simple. So the whole of the chart is available over here. Using this chart, or just using this chart, you can easily change your sentences from direct to indirect speech. So it is going to be very, very helpful for the student how to change the direct to reported speech and how to change the tenses regarding that matter. Then we have an exception is for cases like universal truths, the tenses remain the same. If you see that the sentence, in the sentence you have a universal truth, so the tense of the sentence will not be changed. It will remain the same. Like you can see in the first example, Tina said, the sun rises in the east. The sun rises in the east is a universal truth. So yeah, when you will change it from direct to indirect narration, it will remain the same. And the other rule is, if the reporting verb is in the present tense or it is in the future tense, Again, the tense remains the same in the indirect speech. Like you can see, she says or she will say, I am coming. So when you will change it into indirect speech, the sentence will be she says or she will say that she is coming. It means there is no change of tense at all if the reporting verb is in present tense or in future tense. And the other rule is if it is there with a universal truth. So these are a few rules which you have to keep in mind. In the case of direct and indirect narration, I hope that keeping all these rules in your mind, you can easily have the change. You can easily attempt the direct and indirect speech in your exam without making any mistake. In the next lecture, we are going to start with the positive sentences. I will give you the positive sentences and I will ask you people how to change them from direct into indirect speech. And at the same time, we are going to discuss the rules as well. So I hope that today's lecture would have been very useful for the students regarding the rules, and keeping all these rules in mind, you can easily attempt your question. Okay, students, Allah Hafiz.